My learning differences, Tourette syndrome and OCD.
ADD.
Challenge with reading and writing.
ADHD, dyslexia, and anxiety.
Thomas Edison for me is a very special place.
In my elementary school years, starting around 2nd or 3rd grade, I noticed that I couldn't quite keep up with the other kids in my class in reading and spelling and those kinds of things. I couldn't pay attention long enough to actually learn the material.
I was really far behind in reading. 3rd grade, I was probably reading about kindergarten level. I was having a really hard time spelling. I couldn't spell the without thinking it was a THU instead of THE.
It was really hard. I was reading at a 5th, 6th grade level as a freshman and sophomore. Kids would call me retarded, which for a long time I just went along with it and didn't want to do anything about it.
My educational journey was pretty standard for the most part until I got into about the 4th or 5th grade when my grades started declining and I was no longer on the same educational path as the other students. They were accelerating or they were moving forward and building on what they had previously learned in last grades, and I was kind of stuck in the same spot.
We found out about Thomas Edison and that it was in Portland, and so I grew up and lived in Eugene on the weekends, but we decided to make the move and to find a place up here to live, and so I could go to this school.
What I tell people about Edison is it's a regular high school. We teach regular curriculum to students in ways that are unique. So I still teach The Great Gatsby like every other high school teacher. I just do it in a classroom of 8, and my students know the material, period.
We're a small school, but we make a great impact on this community, being the only high school that is exclusively for learning disabled high school students. Every student should be given the opportunity to find success, and especially at school. It's going to affect them the rest of their lives. If they can't find success at the public school, I'm hoping that with the support of this community, they can find success at Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison is very expensive. We feel very privileged that our children can come here. We do benefit from the financial aid. I have made the statement that I would sell my house for my children to come to Thomas Edison. That is how important this school is to me, how important it is for my children to be able to succeed in life, to get an education, and to have options.
I came to Edison about 15 years ago and figured out that this was a very special population of kids. All Edison kids have learning challenges, and they're called all kinds of different things. There's kids that have dyslexia, dysgraphia, difficulties with numbers, ADHD, so attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, real difficulties with inattention, auditory processing disability, Asperger's. There's a lot of different names for it, but really what is common at Edison is that students really have challenges with learning.
We see a lot of attention deficits, so whether that's with the hyperactivity or the inattentive, a lot of our students find it really hard to concentrate in a larger school environment. So our classes really accommodate that by having the small class size. As a teacher, I can always be really aware if a student's starting to drift. And because it's such a small environment, it gives us an ability to call that student back without publicly embarrassing them.
I love the idea of going to school every morning. I know I have since I started coming here. It's like the best place in the world to come to.
So in both cases, in both sons, it's my firm belief if Edison weren't here and the dedication of the teachers, the small classes, the teachers' ability to give these kids self-confidence back, that they would have not gone into college, let alone finished high school, and may have been left in their shells or their very tough situation.
The difference is at Thomas Edison, students are allowed more class time to do their work.
I remember my first year teaching, we read a book called Persepolis, and at the end, we read it all in class and we talked about it, and at the end of it, this boy, he read the last page out loud, closed the book and actually threw it on the ground and went like this. And I was like, dude, what happened there? He's like, that was my first book I ever read. This is a 15-year-old boy who's never read a book. Like, what has that done to his self-esteem his whole life? And how great for me that I'm the one in the classroom when he reads his first book.
If it wasn't for the way that Thomas Edison disciplined me in the way in how I learn personally, then I wouldn't have been able to take that on to college and then into my professional life now.
Thomas Edison is the best school ever. And I couldn't ask for any more or anything more than being here and being someone I want to be.